G'day everyone. Another lens that I was recently sent from Tamron is this 35 to 150 millimeter lens. Now it is a variable aperture, so it does go from f2.8 to f4. But as a travel type lens, I think this is going to be a really nice lens. It's also quite a good portrait lens as well, and we'll be looking at some of those shots that I've done today because I have tended to concentrate on this with shooting portraiture, and so you can let me know what you think about those images as we go through those during this talk. But the lens itself feels quite nice, but it is still very, very well made. There is a lock on the lens, so you can stop the lens creep. Lock that in, it won't creep anymore, which is a nice feature, particularly because sometimes if you leave that off, the lens can creep down, so that's nice. You do have an AF and MF manual switch through here, so you can go between the focus modes, and you also have a V switch mode as well, which will be on and off, so it does have vibration control as well, which is fantastic. The range itself, you can see that if I bring it out, it does come out, the shaft does move out, which is not too bad, and it doesn't really come out too fast, so you know, it seems to be nice. There's a nice bit of resistance there as well for when you're turning it, so that also feels very nice as well. The aperture range, I've noticed though, it is 2.8 if you're wide open at 35, but it does close down pretty quickly. The second you go to 50mm, it gets around 3. And then it just moves upwards all the way through it. So if you are after the 2.8 aperture, you really do have to be shooting at the 35mm range to get that nice wide open aperture. Apart from that, the second you move up, it will go up. But having a constant aperture up to f4 is also really nice as well. So it's not like it's going to 5.6 or above that. It will stay at an f4 lens, and I think that's quite workable, particularly with today's cameras of higher ISO. So it seems to be like this would be a fantastic lens for travel, due to the fact that you do have such a big range between that 35mm going up to 105mm. And if you do put it into crop mode, well then obviously you can get even further in as well, so it's nice. The lens itself doesn't weigh too much, and I'll talk about the specs soon. The lens itself doesn't weigh too much. It feels quite nice on the camera, nice and balanced. There is a weather sealing gasket on the bottom, so it is weather sealed as well against the elements, and it seems to be like it's a really well-made lens. So let's look at some of the specs that this lens has. It does have a bright 2.8 aperture, so that's really nice, and like I said, that will be around the 35mm focal length, and as soon as you start to turn up, it will go towards f4, but I think that's still quite workable for a lens like this. So it has 3 low dispersion elements, which obviously eliminate fringing and chromatic aberrations as well, and that does seem to be quite well controlled. There is an anti-reflection coating put onto this lens, so it will help with things like ghosting, lens flare, and also help with backlit situations as well. There is vibration control on this, and it gives you around about 5 stops, which is really good. So if you are using very low shutter speeds, handheld, or if you're doing video handheld, things like that, it will certainly help an awful lot, so you'll get much sharper images. It does have moisture resistance. There is a seal on the back down here, a gasket, so that will protect it from inclement weather as well. It has a 9-blade diaphragm, so the rendering and the out of focus areas obviously are really quite nice. Let me know what you think about those images. I think it's actually quite nice. Like I said, this will be a great travel lens. It'd be really nice to, say, take on a holiday or something like that, where you need something that is reasonably wide and also can go reasonably long at the same time. And that would be where this would really excel at. It does have that nice open aperture of f2.8 if you're around the 35mm focal range, but it does move up very, very quickly. But it will only go up to f4, so that's not too bad in a variable aperture lens. But I think for what this is, it seems to be a really nice solution for things like I said, like travel, portraiture, and things like that. And I'm really quite happy with the use of it, and I've quite enjoyed using it today. So apart from that, let me know what you think about the images down below. I will get back to you as soon as possible. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and also really appreciate it if I could get a thumbs up for the video. Bye for now.